I'm a 3D artist and I've been playing this game Mario recently. Apparently it's pretty popular. It was developed in Kyoto over the course of a year by some of the smartest programmers in the world. But why couldn't it be developed in 60 minutes by one of the dumbest programmers in the world? Well, there's only one way to find out, so wish me luck in 3, 2, 1. Okay, go. Step 1 is to make about 20 different textures, starting with Mario himself. I'm not allowed to download anything, so it's about to get serious. The original game has a pretty complicated tile map to animate between small Mario and big Mario and swimming and jumping and sliding. I've got a better idea to animate that. Ready? Beautiful skip. All right, so that's one texture down, but we have a problem because the run is washed if I don't make one texture every 60 seconds, and we're already behind schedule. Thankfully, a couple of these are just color swaps that I can make in sub 20 seconds if I lock in, but that still leaves me with 3 items, 4 entities, 5 blocks, and 5 decoration types. This should get me up to about 90% coverage on the first level from the first game, as long as you don't count the logo or the castle or the secret room, because these are going to take like 2 minutes each, which is completely unacceptable for an optimized route like this. All right, that is one ugly looking pipe. Here's all my textures. My favorite is probably the floor.png, which is kind of sad, but hey, these aren't here to look pretty. They're here to get the job done. Either way, that's textures complete at about 18 minutes in. This is a suboptimal split. I was only able to achieve 1 or 2 frame perfect strokes over the entire run so far, which is pretty embarrassing, so I'll need to make up the time in step 2, which is the hardest part of this by far. For this segment, I need to write about 400 lines of C# across 16 different scripts. My typing speed isn't great, but despite my suboptimal keyboard and gaming chair, it's actually a pretty simple game from a software standpoint. My code diagram fits on one screen, which I am not used to, but even this can take a while. I'm not allowed to use AI for this either. I mean, I am lazy, but even I have limits, so I spend the next 30 minutes in a delirious state, typing like a maniac. I managed to find this new tech where you put multiple variables in one line, saves like 6 words. It's actually completely worthless. The controller for Mario himself is probably the most important out of all the mechanics we're working with here, and it's more complicated than you might think. You don't just move right, you have a velocity vector and friction, so he slides around. The first game especially has this really floaty movement that's kind of annoying to get used to, and when you do jump, you can hold the jump button to go higher or lower. I'm only doing about half of that to save time though, because next I gotta make the items for this level, which means I also need to make an entity system. They're pretty simple entities. I mean, the mushroom literally just moves to the right, but they also need to detect when they get stuck and turn around and actually do things, so they need a hitbox system. But after the battle cats, I don't think I have it in me to complain anymore. The mushroom just needs to actually activate big mode. That's easy enough. The fire flower, on the other hand, carries significantly more dopamine reduction risk because it's actually 2 separate entities. You got the flower itself, that's nothing. That just sits on the floor. But then you got the fireball. Out of all the entity AI, this is the most complicated so far. It's still not really though. It just needs to detect the collision normals and apply that vector to its velocity, which is a word count way of saying it bounces on stuff. It also kills enemies in the original, but we do kind of need enemies for it to do that. Since I need to be as aerodynamic as possible for this run, I got my perforated mouse. Even my earbuds are the precise optimal weight. I'm running the Raycon Essential Open earbuds, who were kind enough to sponsor this. Can I call this a feat of athleticism? Because I'm going to. I prefer not to use over-the-ear headphones anyways, because it feels like it's going to mold itself into my head. But these bad boys are light enough, you hardly notice they're even there. They're also open ear, so I can stay alert to my surroundings in case an assailant or one of my editors is breaking down my door. More realistically though, if you're walking outside, it's pretty important that you're able to hear the nearby car or train or evil and intimidating horse before it runs you over. And you only need to charge the case like once a week since it has 36 hours of battery life, which is perfect if you're busy or forgetful or just don't want to deal with anything. That's me. I'm talking about myself right now. So if you're looking for some new earbuds that are affordable without sacrificing sound quality, head to buyraycon.com/DanielKrafftOpen to get your open earbuds with a 15% discount and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks to Raycon for sponsoring. Let's get back to the video. So lucky for me, the first level only has 2 enemies, but really it's actually 3 if you include the shell in that count. First we got the Goomba. This is just about as simple as enemies can possibly be in a video game. For my purposes, it's basically like the mushroom item, but it kills you. Enemies are a little more complicated than items though, because they need 2 separate hitboxes, one for getting stomped on and one for stomping on everything else. Then we just apply moderate upward velocity if the player lands on it. Oh, good. Yeah, that's thanks, Miyamoto. Next, we got the Koopa, which is kind of like the Goomba, except the texture is even more scuffed. I didn't even think that was possible. It also drops a shell, which is actually the most complicated enemy in the game so far. The others just piece themselves out when they get hit. This one has to start and stop and ricochet off things, and when it is stopped, the player has to be able to kick the shell, usually directly into the player's own hitbox. Okay, that's all the code. I didn't explain all of it because I don't want to relive that experience. It took me about 30 minutes to write all this, which is half of the entire run, leaving me with 10 minutes to finish the rest of the game. I'm definitely behind at this point, but it's not over yet. I just need to go Super Saiyan on this last part. A lot of games like this are made using a tile map where the world is a giant grid and each square on the grid could be a particular block. That means you can just draw the level pretty much. And some of these are really simple to make without any drama. Like the floor literally does nothing, but some of them are a little more complicated. I don't think I could skip these in good conscience, but I need you to understand this thing is a hazard to the run. It needs to be able to give arbitrary items like a coin or a power-up, but the power-up it gives depends on which power-up the player is actively using. It needs 2 separate hitboxes for optimal head bonking functionality. It needs an animation track player and custom animations to make it bounce smoothly and animate the coin coming out and fading into a transparent color. And it needs to switch to an empty version after being bonked. But despite my monk-like focus and discipline, it wasn't enough, and the timer ran out before I could even start playtesting. But even though I thoroughly underestimated the difficulty of making 20 textures, 400 lines of code, building a level, and 15 different scenes in 1 hour, I wasn't ready to give up yet, because I wouldn't be just giving up on this project, I'd be giving up on myself, and more importantly, the title for the video. So I went back through the recording and started optimizing whatever I could find. My reference board got completely remade with color coding to reduce eye motion frames, and dusted off that timer one last time. And this time, I knew what I was doing. That's a lie, but I was faster. Textures and coding were down 3 minutes each, leaving me with 6 entire extra minutes to finish what I couldn't get to last time. User interface, we're gonna need trackers for coins, score, level, time remaining, lives remaining, just like the original game. If you die, it restarts the level until you run out of lives, in which case you get the loser screen. But if you touch this flag, wait, where's the flag texture? Nah, we're not missing this one. You get the win condition instead, where you can see your final score. I forgot to make that reset on death though, so the optimal method is to spam turtle shell, die to the timer 3 times in a row, and then touch the flag at the last possible second on the 4th life. There's a big kill zone under the floor, so you don't just fall until the floating point arithmetic breaks down. There's this little wall that stops you from going out of bounds. But after all those extra features I didn't get to the first time, I only had about 2 minutes to actually build the level tiles, but this time everything was ready to go. So even though I wasn't able to build the entire level, I did build a level, and it does work like a charm. Wait, isn't that supposed to bounce? Well, that's time. Is it cheating if I fix this one bug? I don't care, bro. It's like 1 line. The final game lands at a solid 2 to 3 minutes of runtime, which is worth about a 5-cent sale price on Steam using the dollar per hour rule of thumb. But I wanted to get a professional opinion from a real game developer before calling it. The project files and the game itself are on Patreon if you want it, alongside most of my other projects. You ready for absolute cinema?
I'm ready for absolute cinema, bro. Let's hit this up. Oh, okay. This is great. Oh, this is like, how did you get the movement so accurate? No, I'm only joking, bro. This is super slide. Can I shoot a fireball? Oh my god, that turtle. Wait, you even got this? Okay, this is actually peak. This is peak. Can I throw a fireball or? Oh, no way.
They're little scuffs, but
this is crazy. You even got the UI spot on. That's pretty good, bro. Especially the fact the shell bounces. I did not expect that. All right, now I speedrun. No, that's insane. Do I get to rate it now? Is that how this works?
I don't know that this is even like worth a rating. With that, I don't know why I thought this was a good video idea, but I did it, and it's over, and goodbye.